Tell me a little bit about the Delacroix fishing right now. I mean, when somebody comes down here, whether they're going to come fish with you or they're going to go fish themselves, they're familiar with the area. You know, what do you expect? What's a reasonable expectation of fishing down here right now?
Well, if you're coming down in all of this heat, anticipate kind of a long ride because the fish aren't really doing a whole lot on the inside of Delacroix. So we've been fishing more on the fringe of Black Bay and then out into Black Bay where the water is deeper and cooler and the fish are a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
So expect a little bit of a longer ride. Don't really expect to come somewhere close and do really well. You might catch a few, but it's not going to be what it would be like on the outside right now.
Especially if you're focusing on speckled trout.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we're moving in. This is sort of a, you know, for me, I kind of break the year up in little segments. And at this point, mid-July, I start saying, okay, now we're going to see, first of all, the river's going to get way flat, which usually means you can come closer to the river as far as catching, you know, saltwater inshore fish, which means Black Bay, California Point, you know, all those areas of Battledore Reef, all of those areas that we sort of skirted today all become viable as fishing places. It also is the time of year when you start seeing, you know, the 2 o'clock showers start popping up, and we saw some of those further south of us. But what's your approach? You know, when you leave, is it as early as possible to try to get on that bite early, or how are you planning your day?
Well, first thing I'm going to do is look at the weather on one of my apps on the news or wherever. See if I can even get to the outside.
Well, and that's
That's
I
the
mean,
bi- that's
we're
the
talking
main
about when you
thing.
get out of bed.
That's the main thing. Now, if I see, you know, I got good winds, I'm not going to get rained on the entire time. First thing I'm doing is heading to the outside because that's where things are right now when it's so hot. Now, if it's really windy or the rain is going to, you know, torture us pretty much all day, then I'll try and stick around close and see what I can find on the inside.
Plan B.
Yep.
Well, you know, you talk about the inside a little bit, but you guys have been, you, Bo, and Sean have been doing fairly well on the redfish, close to the coast, and so I mean, your plan B is not a big step backwards. You actually got some fish going. Is that a pattern that you can predictably or consistently sort of rely on this time of year?
I would love to say, yeah, I can definitely rely on it, but sometimes it's a flip of a coin because we'll go out some days, you know, speckled trout, it didn't happen. We'll go, let's go catch some redfish and do really well. And some days we thinking, oh, we're going to go back here. We caught fish here the other day and go back and completely strike out. So it's kind of day to day with that. You got to do a lot of sticking and moving and covering a lot of water because these fish are popping up in different little areas. It's not in one little area of Delacroix where, oh, there's a big concentration of fish. I know I can go there. You're just going to have to stick and move and do a little traveling.
Is the old clean water, moving water bait critical?
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You know, and this time of year, you could even kind of throw in shells. You know, any reef bottom you find. You know, that offers a few advantages. I think with the bait can't hide. It also that white reflects back, and that water didn't get hot as fast. So I think this fish can stay in those areas longer. So if somebody was going to come down
Yes.
tomorrow morning, they're going to be at the dock at 4:30. They're planning to leave at 5 as soon as there's even a little bit of a break of dawn. What's their plan? What are they doing? They want speckled trout, but they'll go plan B for redfish. What's the plan? Check the weather.
Check the weather. If your weather's good, head out into Black Bay. Go hit all your hard bottom islands, your shell points, anything with a good hard bottom, oyster shells, any of that. That's what's holding trout right now. As the day gets a little bit further on, you might try to go out in a little bit deeper water, try some of the rigs, you know, some of the stuff that we hit today. If you're kind of striking out there, then maybe come back to the fringe and then start looking for your redfish from there.
Because most of the shrimp have pushed past, Breton Sound and our coastline, and so pogie and mullet tend to be more of their forage. You know, right now, what they're looking for right now. Caught one on top water today on that little Jaywalker 120 that Berkeley makes. I think that if you get out early enough and you're on those shell reefs and you see some bait moving around, especially the mullet, that a topwater bait would be a lot of fun. You'd be able to catch some nice fish doing that. But otherwise, that popping cork or working a jig on the bottom works very well. Talk a little bit about what we use today. The two big ones were the Magnum and the lemon peel. I see a Magnum. Why don't you show everybody
Yep.
what that
This
was?
is what did most of the damage early for us. This is a
A little lighter head. You
Yep.
had a 1/4 ounce on it. but
yeah. This is a Magnum mullet. All right. This is in the marsh cricket color. This is what we were using like first thing when they
Right.
really were biting first thing this morning. We just had in a 1/4 ounce head, and we were throwing it really, really tight to the shell islands, working it off. Mostly because all the mullet were pushed right on
Up
the side
against
of the
the shoreline,
island.
yeah.
So that's where those fish were holding. This made a good profile to throw into those mullets. A little bit bigger of a bait.
But the color of this, what I really like is it's a little longer. It's a 4 1/4.
4 1/4.
Yeah, and so you get a little longer bait. Your body is a big, healthy body, but that tail is a nice loose. Takes very little water to get it going, and then the Death Grip jig head is a fantastic jig head to use no matter what weight you use. Now you also had the newer jig head, which
Yeah,
you call what's that?
It's the XL jig head. It was designed to use with these
For
bigger
that.
baits.
And it's actually got a little point up. Looks like it bounced over those rocks a little better. You know, a real nice jig head. Bait business is doing well.
Doing well.
Doing very well. And you got a new venture with Four Horsemen.
I do.
Nice. And I had it to show you, but I got so interested in it, I started tearing it apart to
And
see
he
how
destroyed it.
how it was made. But it's a shrimp. It's a weighted hook on a shrimp, and it's balanced nicely. It looks like it's got a nice flat to bottom to glide. So when you see is it going to be under the Froggy Moore or is it under the Four Horsemen?
It's under Four Horsemen.
So if you see the Four Horsemen shrimp, check it out. Give it a try. It's really good. We did use Berkeley Gulp. I caught a fair amount of fish on the Berkeley Gulp. More the pink shine than the pearl white, and everything was caught on Penn tackle. So as far as rod and reels go, as far as reels go, I shouldn't say that 'cause I have a lot of Fenwicks. I like the Fenwicks. I like the, I used an old Villain, an Abu Garcia Villain, which is just until it breaks, it's going to always come with me. It's fantastic. So thank you again. I enjoyed it. Captain Lane Zimmer, Marsh Monkeys Guide Service down here in Delacroix. He lives in Morel. He knows Lafitte, so if you can talk him into showing you some spots over there, he can probably give you all of all the competition spots in Lafitte right now. give Lane a call. Thanks.